This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a beautiful morning here in South Africa. The perfect morning to the start of your sunrise safari today. Obviously, you can see the moon is out, we've got the twinkling of the stars, and of course, the sun is slowly starting to come up. So my name is Lauren, and on camera today I do have BK. Yay! Team Extreme. So before we drive, I just want to say you can talk to us using that hashtag SafariLive. I must not forget that. On Twitter or even on YouTube chat. But today is a very special day, and I'm sure you all know exactly why it is special. It is the 2nd of February, and that means it is Mr. Hosanna's birthday. Yay! So, just going to put my lights on. We are obviously going to look for Mr. Hosanna today. Now, he hasn't been seen in a few days, so I'm not exactly sure where to start, but we're going to try. We're going to go to all his favourite areas and try and look for him. So me and BK decided we're going to sing. Shall we sing, BK? Yep. He says, yep. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hosanna. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Okay, I can't believe I just sang to everybody and let you hear how much I actually cannot sing. I'm more of a, dancer, not a singer. But it's Hosanna, and it is his birthday. And he made it to 3 years old. Now, most of you all know Hosanna. And for anybody that doesn't, he is a leopard that we have known since he was a baby little cub. And he's had a very interesting life. But he's made it to 3 years old, and he's turning into a very strong male leopard. So 2019 is definitely his year. And right now we are on quarantine, which is an open clearing right next to our camp. It's not far, but he loves this clearing. We regularly drive along here and just accidentally bump into him on the road. So that's why we're searching here. Then we're just going to search all his other hotspots and basically try to find this elusive leopard. The last time I saw him, we got a fleeting sighting where he crossed over into Buffelshoek. So we are hopefully hoping that he has obviously not crossed over into Buffelshoek. Oh, there's a little bit of a chill when you drive, actually. I'm glad I've got my jumper on. The weather here is 21 degrees Celsius and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So it's not the warmest. It's always worth looking up a marula tree to see if he has stashed anything or got a kill. But one thing I did want to point out is quarantine is very quiet. Now, normally, when we come around quarantine, there is impala and wildebeest everywhere because they huddle together in this open clearing at nighttime. And they're not really here. They seem to have dispersed somewhere, and that could be the sign of a predator around. Now, we have been seeing the inkohumas every day now, which is fantastic. I've got to spend a lot of time with this pride. However, it could mean trouble, and they could have possibly been in this area last night, which could potentially be the reason the impalas have gone. Sky is saying that might be out of tune. Really? Did you think it was out of tune? No, it was terribly out of tune. I think BK did better than I did there. I really am not known for my singing ability. Okay, the impala are on this side. Let's just stop and let us have a morning look at the impala. So normally they're on the southern side, but you can see here they're now on the northern side of quarantine. So I wonder if something did happen on quarantine last night. Good morning, impalalas. I do love a morning sighting of the impala. So while we do search for our elusive, handsome birthday boy, we are going to throw you all the way up to Kenya in the Masai Mara to see what Isaac has.
Oh, a very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the beautiful Masai Mara. It is rather a bit chilly here, very windy, and these guys are, this little guy is drinking in style, and he's happy. A very good morning. My name is Isaac, and behind the camera is Bungay. And welcome to the beautiful Masai Mara. It is still quite dark, and we are using the IR infrared to be able to see these beautiful creatures without interfering with their behavior. This looks like a young cub and her mom, and she is drinking, and she's drinking in style. I would also, drink like that, like relaxed, no rush. Remember, this is the spotted hyena, a very common carnivore throughout Africa, one of the most successful, perceived to be a sly, scavenger, but it is actually a very successful predator in the African plains. Widespread all the way from sub-Saharan Africa to South Africa. It is in its own family called Hyenidae, and they say it is related, somehow to the mongoose and the civet. So it is actually in its own family, an animal that is only rivaled by the lions in the African plains. It is the only carnivore that can, take kills from lions, although it is not amongst the biggest of, the cats or the dogs. It's the largest of its family, between the spotted, the striped, and the brown. The spotted, it's the largest, weighing up to around 70 kilos, fully grown females, and the males are much smaller. Males usually don't stick in the clans for very long. They usually break away. Females remain in the clan, almost the rest of their life. It was known that the matriarch was the one that bred only, but recently I have seen with my eyes that, some females also breed. It is believed because of females staying together. Child of the universe, you ask me, how old is this cub? First of all, good morning. Have you had a cup of tea? I don't know what time it is there. How are you this morning? It's very, very early here. This cub here is about 6 months old. It is quite huge, but it's still very dependent on its mom's rich milk. And here, I don't know if it's a he or a she, but I will call him a she because she's very beautiful. She is drinking with a swag. Yes, I was just telling you about the 3 species that are found in Africa. The spotted is the largest, and predominantly the females stick together. And actually, the females stick together, that, forcing them to become, very fierce and aggressive. And so, they're actually much bigger than the males. Hello, good morning. You're beautiful. You have bear-like face. Yes, this is the spotted hyena. Remember to engage me this morning on #SafariLive, or you can watch me on YouTube live stream. It is a beautiful morning, and I would expect if you're watching, to ask me as many questions as possible. Also, criticism is welcome. We are here coming to you live in the Masai Mara, and this is actually our first animal of the day. Yes, while, this guy drinks in the swag, I'm going to go look for something else. Let me link you to Trishala in Juma in Greater Kruger, South Africa.
morning, everybody. I am Trushala coming to you from Juma, of course. Here I am, all the way down here. And I have James on camera with me. Yes, I do. How are you all today? I hope you're well. Please use the hashtag SafariLive to ask us any questions or comments. And, of course, the YouTube chat stream. It's a chilly morning in Juma. Actually, not too bad. It's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And we have a white-backed vulture waiting for the temperature to pick up just a little bit so maybe he can get off the ground. Well, he is off the ground, but off the tree. Now, of course, it is Hosanna's birthday today. And I know Lauren is looking for him. And I would love to stumble across him. But I will let her have a good look first. And then, of course, I will look for any tracks to assist her. And if I find the little chief, I will be ecstatic to wish him a happy birthday. So, spotlight's out. Vulture is waiting. And we are going to be on our way to... I understand we have had a lot of birthday wishes for Hosanna. I would think so. I would also like to wish him a very happy birthday if this is a little tribute to Hosanna. Happy birthday, Hosanna. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy your day. Hope you have a good meal, you know, all of that. That's how I get birthday messages when I'm at home. I hope he checks his phone. Maybe send him a birthday text. So, of course, Spotlight is out looking for any eyes in the bushes. Maybe some of them would be Hosanna's. But besides that, the plan for today is to maybe go down to Chitwa and some of the watering holes and have a look there. I always enjoy that. See some birds and some hippos, maybe some crocodiles around as well. Oh, it smells wonderful this morning. It smells a little like freshly cut grass with a mixture of insect juice and rain, all combined into one. It smells lovely. I like it anyway. Let's have a look at this. I don't know if James can get this, but the moon with the star, can you see that? Or just the moon? Because the sky looks wonderful.
You want the star or the moon?
I like the moon.
It's good because I can see the moon.
It's a lovely crescent-shaped moon over Juma today. I was just saying to the guys in the back, the clouds were moving so fast past the vulture, and even below them I can see them moving quite quickly. So there might be some wind up above us. Hello, moon, unaware of anything that's happening down here on Earth. Pretty. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Mary would like to know what squashed bugs smell like. Ooh. Okay, I can tell you what a few specific ones smell like. There's this grasshopper. It's kind of banded. It's a Natal something or the other. I can't remember. I remember it from my childhood. I haven't seen it in the reserve here yet. And it's got little stumpy little wings. And it's little red wings. And that smells... It smells noxious, if that makes sense. It smells heavy and unhealthy, but nonetheless natural. Doesn't smell unnatural. And then the stink bugs, of course, they smell... a lot of people say they smell like peanut butter. I've heard that. But I think they kind of smell like cheap floral perfume, in a way. Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? No, day before. One flew into my mouth, so I had the pleasure of tasting it as well. And I say pleasure very loosely. But still. I wish I could get you to smell through the camera, but I can't do that. Can't do that. What I can get you to do is listen. Let's just go here and have a quick listen. I can hear lots of birds. I can hear the Cape turtle dove. I could hear the black-headed oriole in the background. Yeah. So, let us go and look for the hippos, the crocodiles, the elephants, the everything that we can find. In the meantime, let's go over to Lauren.
So we keep seeing tracks that attract my attention, and for a brief second or two they always look like leopard and they end up just being hyena. So it's a little bit frustrating. There obviously was a lot of hyenas walking around last night. Of course there was. So, well, they're headed this way anyway, but it's not leopard tracks, which is what we are looking for. I really have no idea
All the way along Penguin Track.
in terms of leopards. In terms of lions, it's not been, and I just wonder where he has gone. I hope he is not hanging out in Buffalo's Hook permanently for the time being, because that would not be a joy for us. But actually, Jamie and I had a little bit of a conversation yesterday about lions and leopards. So I personally feel, and this is just a feeling, that since we've started seeing the Nkuhumas every day, and I mean they're right in the centre of Djuma, wandering around everywhere, obviously making kills during the night, that we haven't seen the leopards. So are they actively avoiding these lions, or is it just coincidence? So we discussed that, you know, cats don't well, leopards and lions, let's stick to leopards and lions, don't actively go out their way to avoid one another, so they don't proactively do that. But of course, if the Nkuhumas are around Hosana, Tingana, they will be aware of that. They will have their scent, they will know they're there. So if they do come across them, they probably will walk in the other direction. But they don't necessarily proactively avoid one another. So I'm not sure where he's gone, and Tingana has not been sighted for a few days either, which is a little bit worrying. We know that a few people are concerned about Tingana. He's maybe lost a little bit of weight recently, and we haven't heard him sawing. But then again, you have to remember it's Tingana, the Duke of Djuma, and he does peak and trough just like we do. Some days we'll have good weeks, some days we'll have bad weeks. So I'm not too worried. I'm sure we will sight Hosana soon. But yeah, both of them, father and son, have not been seen in a few days. So either way, I'm determined to find us a leopard for today. And we are heading in the direction where the Nkuhumas were seen, so you never know, we might bump into them. But I really want to try and find a leopard. And apparently Mr. Hukamuri himself crossed over yesterday into Djuma from Arathusa, but in the end he did actually cross back again. So it is all interesting in the leopard world just now. Paula's saying perhaps they went on a father and son trip. Indeed, it would seem like that, wouldn't it? If only the leopard world worked that way, and they could have updated their social media and just let us know that they've gone on a trip. That would be a lot easier. Now, I would really love to see what are currently being called the Hukudulus, Shadulu and Hukumuri's little baby fluff balls. I would absolutely love to see them. Hukudulus, whoever came up with that name is just genius. So we may traverse to the western side at some point and see if we can catch a glimpse. So now, while we continue our journey, we are going to send you over to the bushwalk team to say good morning to Ali.
Higher ground. Sana is somewhere around. is Davi.
A little sip of my coffee there. Sorry about that. Coffee's important, so yes, I have got my flask and I was having a little sip there if you did see that. Now we're back in colour. The sun has came up, and actually I'm just going to see if we can give you a nice look at this sky. I'm going to stop. It's a very beautiful moment. Can you show everybody this, BK? Now, it's not an intense sunrise. I think the sun's much higher up now, but look at this beautiful view that we do have ahead of us. Ah, breathtaking. Now, it was quite cloudy this morning. We did discuss, are we going to need the rain roof? And I think I am happy with my decision that we will not. Beautiful sky. So I just thought I would show you that. I don't know what happened to Ali. I do apologise. But you are back with us, and I have put my coffee down. And we will continue our search. Aussie leopards. Now, of course, many of you do know, I don't want to repeat myself, that we are in the middle of a great Mission Impossible, which really is a Mission Impossible. If you think about the movies, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, he always solves the mission, so it's not really impossible, is it? It should be called Mission Possible. But ours is impossible at the minute. We are looking for the hyenas. Now, Jamie's at her wits' end. I am starting to feel that way because we're sighting the hyenas. We've got little bits of information. We know that Ribbon's lactating. Most likely June has cubs. And of course, Corky's little one, Plonk, and Pretty's little two. Just where are they is the question. Now, obviously at night they roam and walk, so that's why we see their tracks everywhere. Hyenas will actually walk very far all throughout the night. They're not lazy animals, so we just spot their tracks everywhere, but we're still just not able to locate this den. We just don't have any information, so I think it has been confirmed that they have left the one on Little Gowrie. So possibly they're back on Juma or Torchwood, who knows, but we will always keep our eyes out for hyenas this morning. So it looks like Ali's finally ready to say good morning again, so let's go across to her.
Well, we're going to try this again. See if maybe you guys can have a look at this beautiful place. Hopefully you can hear me this time. If not, I'm going to have to start shouting all the way across the world. I'm going to come down from this termite mound as gracefully as I can. My name is Ali, in case you missed it last time, and on camera with me today is Davi. Hello. And we are on bushwalk this morning, as you can see. So we've decided that this morning we're going to go and try, obviously, the man himself, Hosanna the cat, who is turning 3 years old today. So hopefully we'll be able to find some tracks, and then we'll take it from there. It's been a little bit tough. We think that he might be eating, an advance Impala birthday cake somewhere in the bush, because nobody's seen him for a few days. There were reports of him. There was not too far, roughly in that general direction. It would take us about maybe 10-15 minutes to get to that area on foot to go and look for him. But Tristan did find an animal stomach a while ago. There were lots of vultures, eagles, marabou, storks. So good indication that something had been eaten around there. And we wonder if perhaps it's not Hosanna, because we haven't seen him again. So we're going to make our way there. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll get a track or two. And then we'll be able to start looking for him. Because, it's his birthday. We've got to find him and spend time with him. Otherwise, I don't think Tristan would be too impressed. He would definitely want to reconsider our job. Alrighty. There are a lot of seeds around here, so we're going to try not to carry them all on the way out. But it is beautiful. Look at all of this. Just a few weeks ago, we were actually commenting on this. We went on leave for about 3 weeks, and when we came back, there was an explosion of color everywhere. So now all these grass, all these wild sesame, all this panicum has grown, which is wonderful because we want all these seeds to come out. Now is the perfect time. The rain hasn't been too hard, so it's just a nice soft rain that soaks the ground and doesn't wash everything away. So this is something that makes all the animals, the birds, very happy because there's a lot of food around, especially in the morning when there's a little bit dewy and it makes our legs cold when we go out on the bushwalk. but definitely worth it for all of them. And as summer starts ending, which is going to be around about April or so, everything's going to start getting drier. So animals are going to have to subsist on a very, very dry version of everything that we find around here. So I think we're going to enjoy it, but maybe when it's a little bit drier, because I can see Davi starting to walk like a girl on his tippy toes like this. Lucky he cannot throw the camera at me when I say those things. So we're just going to carry on the road, see if perhaps we can find any tracks. Oh, Shongile is reminding me, Murray from FC. Of course, how could we forget? Hosanna, of course, as you may know, he shares a birthday with Shongile, which is his sister. Unfortunately, we haven't seen her for a while. It's been quite a certain amount of time since we last saw her. There were reports of her having seen by one of the Chitwa guides after she had that big fight with Tandi just outside of Galago that Seb and Tristan managed to film. So we don't really know what happened to her. Maybe she's gone somewhere else. Maybe she's in the depth of the Kruger Park in some areas where we cannot see her. Maybe she's gone down further to Malamala, or who knows, maybe she's just decided that she doesn't want the attention. The spotlight was too much for her, so she's become a bit of a shy cat. Right, we are going to be focusing on the tracks. Hopefully we'll be able to get anything, but while we do that, we're going to send you guys all the way across to the Mara.
Here I am with a beautiful, small, agile and fast Thompson's gazelle. He's one of many that has made it through this long, dark, scary night of the Masai Mara. These are plains that, they are not for the faint-hearted. They are for the fastest and the most luckiest. These are the little guys who have made it throughout the night, and I'm sure they are going, phew, we survived another one. Thompson's gazelle are very small, very beautiful, and it comes in huge numbers. Over here, I can see over 30 to 40 of them, and they are very, very happy. You can tell, twitching their tails, moving around. It's just a wonderful scene to see this early in the morning. Remember, we are still on our infrared camera. This allows us to, see these beautiful creatures without disturbing them. You can tell that, they are trying to, put a distance away from me as much as possible. I'm still a threat. I'm still a predator to them, although not directly, but they will try and put a distance. These little guys were named after the famous English explorer Joseph Thomson, who came here in the late 1880s, 1890s, going looking for Lake Victoria, sent by the Royal Geographic to look for Lake Victoria. And I think, maybe he didn't meet somebody who would give them the local name, and so he decided to name them under his name, and they're called Thompson's gazelle. But here in Masai we call them Koli, and in Swahili they're called Swara. Yes, and all you see here are I think it's a male to the left and a female to the right, and that male is being a little bit bossy to that female. These are one of the main sources of cheetah food. So when you see them, chances are the cheetahs are not very far, and sometimes they can be very far. And that's why we have driven for more than an hour and a half. Ashley, you love the twitch of the tail? Yes, it is such a nice twitch. I've always been asked lots of questions about that tail, and actually, scientifically, it hasn't been said exactly why, but for me, I believe it's like how we blink. It's there is that thing that naturally we do. It's like blinking, but it does clean the backside, avoids flies from the backside. So, it is quite helpful, the twitching of the tail. I like it that, you appreciate, Ashley, the twitching of the tail. Yes, I was talking about why they're here. These are generally the biggest source of the fastest animal of land, the mighty cheetah. And that is why we have driven for more than an hour and a half to get to these, plains with shorter grass and this beautiful creature. So many of them. It gives us a higher chance of finding them. No guarantees, but that's why I'm around this area. It's quite an area that I haven't been for about 3 months. So I'm glad you're joining me in this area, see what we can find. They prefer short grass. As you can tell here, it's not as high as other areas that you've been seeing on our live shows. And they go in small herds of up to 20, dominated by one male. It's called a harem. And sometimes we do come across, some that are sometimes more than 30 to 40 of them. It's one of my favorites because it is small, but it does know how to look after itself. How it actually looks after itself, it's got very sharp eyesight, keen sense of hearing, and can run top speeds of up to 70 kilometers an hour and do that for a very long distance. Puma, you asked me if the Thompson's gazelles is the fastest animal of them all? No. Of animal, I would give it the cheetah. Of the antelopes, there's a larger one called the topi. It is in plenty over here. Maybe later on, if you continue joining me, you will see it. But amongst the smallest, the Thompson's is the fastest. And it can run at a very straight line and then turn at very sharp angles. That's avoiding, the cheetah sometimes by, those sharp turns that it can make. Okay, I'm going to continue on down the road because I've just started. It's getting light, so I'll stop using my spotlight, and now I can see. And it is nice because now I can use my binoculars. It is not 100% light. It is still quite chilly, and that's why I'm dressed like this. You might be wondering, but it is quite chilly here. And when you drive an open vehicle like this, your fingers get numb. So it's nice sometimes to stop and just observe. This road I'm driving on is the one that divides actually our Mara Triangle in two. One side is you can drive off-road, the other one not. And it takes you all the way to the beautiful Serengeti and all the crossings of the migration. Surprisingly, today we haven't seen much on the road. Usually we see a lot of animals lying on the road because it has got less grass, no dew, and also the rises on either side keep the cold away. So the animals love it, but we haven't seen any. Okay, while I continue like this, I'll link you to Trishala in Greater Juma in South Africa.
I have some wonderful little goslings. Look at them looking at us. Hello. Please don't be camera shy like so many animals here in Juma. Aren't they just delightful? Look how furry they are. That's a really good indicator of the fact that they're small besides their obvious size. And you can just see the reflection of mom or dad above them as well. They are not alone. There are 3 of them. And their parents are close by as well. Hello. Of course, these are Egyptian geese. So called for the markings around their eyes and face. Cement says, how sweet. Isn't it just? Oh, there was a little sound coming out of there. Very cute. Now all this swimming and play in this water will develop all the right muscles so that they can grow healthily and happily and become strong like mom and dad. Look at that movement of the neck in the goose. I always found that quite fascinating. Nick 1011 would like to know how goslings avoid being chomped by crocodiles. Well, being in a safe place is really the only way they can avoid that, because they're pretty much defenseless. And that's also a lot of the reason that many species have multiple offspring. Unlike elephants or humans that may only have one, two, or basically one or two at a time, many animals invest in having multiple offspring so that they know there's a certain amount of certainty that at least a few of the offspring will survive. So nature kind of, allows for that in a way. But a very good question. Now, where we're going to Chitwa, there are crocodiles, which is probably why these goslings are hanging out here instead of at Chitwa. Just that much safer. Look at it all just pull towards Mum. I found it fine, and I don't know why, but I was pointing out the neck of the adult that was moving as he or she was swimming through the water in the forward and back rocking motion. And I noticed that the chicks don't do that, at least not yet. I wonder why. That motion, from what I understand, is to sort of equalize the vision that they're seeing. So they're not actually moving back and forth. It's just that the neck or the head is moving last, if that makes sense. So I wonder what's different in the goslings and the adult that they don't have to do it. Maybe it's just the fact that their necks are much smaller at the moment. See what other birds we can see at the edge of the dam. Oh, the famous blacksmith lapwing. I haven't heard the incessant calling that they usually have, the ping, 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 ping. I do it horribly, of course. There they are. We saw a green shank earlier as well. It's all the way down on the other side. Jonathan is asking how the name Egyptian geese came about. Well, firstly, they're not geese. They're in fact shell ducks. And the goose part of it, them being categorized as geese, mainly comes from the size. There's our green shank. And then the Egyptian portion of it comes from the markings on the face that look a lot like the portraits on Egyptian ancient Egyptian paintings and sculptures and things like that. Very cute. Look at the way the green shank that is a long, narrow beak. And he's just stabbing into the water and seeing what he could lift up. I am going to move on to Chitwa now and see what other bird life we can find up there. In the meantime, let's go to Ali on Bushwalk.
Well, we've been following this beautiful male elephant, this young bull, on our way to look for the last location where Hosanna was. He was in the open a little bit earlier on, but he's now retreated back into the drainage line, as of course all of our animals like to do. And he just seems to be heading further and further in. So we're not going to try to go in too close. It is getting a little bit thick down there, so just out of safety safety. We're gonna view him from here. There's quite a good distance between us, and then he's quite safe and relaxed. You can see he's probably started off feeding. He knows by now that we are here, I think, and he's just decided that he wants to carry on with his day. So as everything, it's always a pleasure to view the animals on foot, but we don't want to push them more than what we need to. And of course, we are under the expert guidance of Rex, who is leading us today as the magnificent trails guide that is leading this walk. Ooh, the elephants now. What are you doing? Are you drinking? It almost seems like he's drinking, so there very likely is a puddle down there. And then adding to the Hosanna mystery, he shouldn't, if he had a kill in the drainage line, lots of little puddles form at this time of the year with rain. So he doesn't even have to go onto the roads or into one of the bigger dams to go for a drink. He will just find water all around there. Murray, they call him a bull because of size. So normally animals that are very big in size, the males, we call them bulls, and then the females, we call them cows. So a female elephant will be a cow, and then an elephant will be a bull, like that one over there. This is still a young one. It's not as big as they get. And with quarantine, or in quarantine, we have a lot of marula trees. So all of the young bulls, the females, they've been swarming this area, just popping the marulas into their mouth like little candies. So we tend to see them a lot more here at this time of the year than perhaps in the winter time, because there's the added extra sweetness of the marula that brings them in this area. And elephants, funny enough, they do have a sweet tooth. All you have to do is speak to the farmers who have cane sugar farms, especially towards the south of the Kruger Park, where elephants tend to raid them, because they love coming in and eating the cane sugar, or the sugar that they find in the canes. So I think this one over here has just decided that perhaps a little bit too much. He was feeding on marulas earlier, but now gone down for a drink. What a peaceful way to start the morning. We set out to find a leopard, and instead we found the biggest animal that we get around here, which is not too bad. It's still a win. It's just going to make it a little bit trickier for us to go and check that particular spot where he's in, because as we walk, then of course we've got to be careful not to bump into the elephant at close quarters, or, I'm sure he wouldn't want to bump into us at close quarters either. Now, if you see the elephant, you can see that there's a bit of a different color between the top of his body and then the bottom. Likely what he's been doing is he's been spraying some dust, or he's been dust bathing, just to put that extra layer to either get rid of parasites, and later on in the day they either can use dust, but most likely they will use mud to cover their back, their ears, to protect themselves from the sun and all the radiation. It's gone. Off we go. Let's go and see if maybe we can have another look. I'm sure that if we carry on, there will be a bit of a gap, and maybe we'll be able to see him again. There is a termite mound. Ooh, he's going up the other bank of the drainage line. So I think this will be it for him. We saw him going all the way up, and a drainage line is pretty much a depression in the soil that goes down on one side, almost like a V, and then up the other side. And it's wonderful for leopards. They like hiding in there a lot, so do lions. And while the elephant's just gone down, because there's a little bit lower, he potentially found either a puddle or he got to the underground water a lot easier. And now that he's done, he's gone up the other way, carried on into the unknown. I think maybe we've lost him now. Do you think he's this way, Rex? He's gone. Okay, well, it seems like we have lost the elephant, so we're going to carry on with our Hosanna search, hopefully some tracks. But while we do that, and then we safely try to retreat away from this elephant, we're going to send you guys all the way back across to the Masai Mara.
Welcome back over here. I'm in such... Okay, here I am. I'm down in the plains now, and the plains are teeming with different kind of animals. Bungei will just show them to you while I scan the horizons and see who is around. All these are the survivors of the night. They have made it through the night, and they are very happy. There is plenty of game down there. I don't know what you have seen, but we do have the topi, we do have the Thompson's gazelle, we do have the buffalo. I can see them from where I am, and it's just a beautiful scene where I am. Those are topis, quite a good number of them, quite a distance away. They all focus to the right. I don't know what they see. So I'm also looking. Oh, look at that. Such a beautiful scene of everybody there. Yeah, all those are the plains of Masai Mara, dotted with Balanites aegyptica trees. The reason we're here, you know, who lives in this kind of plains, and that's why we're looking for him. I don't know if you were lucky today, but we are here. That is Topi. This is plains where you come across cheetahs, and that's why we're here to look for them. I don't know how lucky we'll be, but we are looking. Yeah, all those are Thompson's gazelle, Balanites aegyptica trees. That's a very rocky area there. A good area for a cheetah or a leopard to hide. The rocks would camouflage the animal. Yeah, all those plains are back towards camp. Camp is way down there, about maybe 50 kilometers away. Yeah, we were quite far the distance. We started out very, very early just to give you and show you, this beautiful place. All these are toppies, and that looks like a small arena. They do form an arena when you're just about to come into season. Rutting, where, males will, fight for mating rights. Yeah, I don't know why that guy is being very skittish. I don't know what he sees. Sometimes it's a good sign that, there is a predator, but we're quite a distance away. We have to get closer and have a look and see if there is anybody. Yeah, so let me continue on towards them, and so we can, see what is closer to them. There is quite a lot of animals. We're going to go around that way. I have toppies, Thompsons, and then I have buffalo and elephants behind me. So we are going to make a very long loop. It's rather wet here. So I'm gonna have to back up. I don't want to get stuck. Those are little stream. Yes, you have to go around these little watering holes because they might look like they're very shallow, and then you put your one tire and it just goes, you disappear in. And it's too early. I don't want to be using my high lifter this time of day. It's still quite chilly for my hands. This is going to be very tricky because I've lost my truck here. Exactly. They are very beautiful, Trish. I agree with you. It's one of the most beautiful places you want to be. There is in the world. It's these beautiful plains. They're just compared to very few in the world. And at the moment, with this morning light, it's just amazing. Unbelievable. It's just super. I think it's just about sunrise somewhere. Over here, actually, I can see the sun coming up, but we're quite low, so we can't see it really well. I've lost my truck, so I'm going to try and find my truck here. Don't want to be driving everywhere. I'm going to drive towards where it's low, where I think everybody has been driving. David, thank you for your concern, but driving an open vehicle this early, it can be very, very chilly. And actually, I'm very, you can hear my nose is clogging. We started very early and driving to come here. It's quite cold. It is, for me, it is chilly. But I'm carrying my tree, which I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop somewhere and have. Yeah, we're going to stop here at these beautiful animals. There is quite a lot of animals here. I'm looking for a truck because I don't want to be driving everywhere, like I said. And once I'm in a truck, I'll be very, very comfortable. I don't want to be part of, the ones driving everywhere. Yeah. Stacey, you asking me about the Sausage Tree Pride? I haven't gone to see them for more than a week myself. My colleague David has been there a few times. I haven't been there, but I'll be making a point to go there quite soon. Maybe in the next 2 days I'll go there. But right now I'm quite a distance. They are off that way. Quite a distance away. I haven't been there. Hopefully I can go there in a few days. It is nice that the grass is shorter here, so that I can see, where I'm driving. Because if you don't know where you're driving, in the long grass, you can't get bogged or, drive into a warthog hole, which is not very good this time of day. Like I said, I don't want to be handling a high-lift jack. That is very cold metal, and also it's quite chilly. Not a pleasant idea. So it's nice that the grass is short and I'm able to drive, where I can see. All this is beautiful plains where, you can find creatures lying out in the open, and that's what we're in search. We're in search of predators. Over here, yes, over here we overlook into the Serengeti. While I'm still continue searching, I'm going to take you to Lauren, who's got a lilac breasted roller.
It is a bit of a quiet morning, but we have came across... Oh! One is off. Okay, there was two. I was literally about to say two rollers, lilac-breasted rollers, but obviously now we just have one. And these birds are just absolutely stunning. It's actually been a while since I've seen one, just sitting perched on the top of this dead tree. Now, it's most likely, you see its head's moving constantly from side to side looking for insects. So they tend to perch themselves up high and look down on the ground below to see what they can find in terms of their insect breakfast. They are not the best at walking on the ground. They're not designed for that. Their legs are better at perching on branches here, and you can see it's just perched perfectly on this dead tree here. Aren't you gorgeous? Now, I have to tell you something absolutely magical just happened to BK and I, and we're both incredibly frustrated at the moment because we were not able to capture it. We were driving along the Moati, which does have patchy signal area, but it's always worth checking in terms of leopards and all sorts of things are in the Moati. And just as we're driving, out in front of us ran a honey badger. Now, I have never heard BK squeal as much, and I can only describe it as a squeal. And I actually heard his squeals before I saw the honey badger, and then I started squealing too. The two of us are driving along squealing, trying to catch up with this honey badger. It was absolutely incredible. And then, of course, it just darted off into the vegetation. And the frustrating thing is, because the grass is so high right now, and the honey badger's so short, we lost it so quickly, and I'm sure you can hear the frustration in my voice. It was such a magical and perfect moment, and BK just told me it's your favourite animal, is that right? So yeah, he's excited and frustrated at the same time. So we're going to drive now, and we're just going to head north. So we did a little loop south, and we're heading up north, hoping for more honey badgers. And well, Giraffe Girl's asking if there's any sign of Hosanna, and not where we have been, but we've just heard on the game drive that there is tracks for a male leopard. Now, it wasn't specified which male leopard, but they're fresh tracks up near Buffalo's Hook. So we've done a loop south, we crossed in the Moati and saw the honey badger, and now we're sort of going up north. So it is a bit of a quiet day, but don't worry, we're on it. And hopefully we don't have any more magical moments when we're not live. My heart's still racing. Oh, honey badgers are obviously, of course they're around, but they're very elusive. So they're very difficult. We got lucky, but not lucky enough. So it's just a case of keep on looking. I really am determined to find Hosanna though. I really, really, really am. Now we are obviously all a bit teetering on the edges of our seats with Hosanna because 3 is the age that male leopards do tend to disperse, and we're all a bit worried. We talk about it regularly around the dinner table at camp, and some of us say, yeah, he's going to disperse, you know, we need to be ready for that. More hyena tracks. And some people say no, you know, there is a potential he might stay. So let's see. My heart wants him to stay, but my head is really not entirely sure what he's going to do. So they don't have a leopard up near Buffelshoek, they just have the tracks, but it's definitely worth us going to check it out. So that's where we are on the way to. No sign of the Inca Pumas, the Oompa Loompas. No sign of them either. So, as I'm concentrating and literally trying my hardest to find something for you, let's go across to Ali, who has a tree.
Well, we've come across something really interesting. Unfortunately, not an animal with spots, but still a living creature. All of these trees that we see around this area, they are tamboti trees. Now, the reason why we stop here, it's not because it looks like a mean tree, although it can be. And part of the reason why it's a bit of a mean tree or has got a bit of a bad reputation is because of this tiny little white latex that comes through all the way when you pull one of the leaves. So that little latex that you see there, it's actually quite toxic. And if I were to come here with a panga and then, you know, try to chop the tree down or whatever, if this went into my eyes, it could cause a lot of damage. Perhaps even if I get a lot, cause me to go blind. So we're going to handle this with a lot of care, and then we're just going to put it back on the ground just to make sure that nobody goes hurt today. But no, the reason why I wanted to stop here, if you look all around us, there's quite a thicket. You can see there's one tree here, one here, one here, one here, another one here, and another one there. So there's been some really interesting research in the last couple of days, in the last couple of years about trees and how they communicate and how they help each other grow. So trees are not just, you know, things that stand there pretty strong and then they grow and then they have no feelings, they don't talk, and so on. They're actually very dynamic things, very dynamic beings. In particular, in tamboti trees, there's a very interesting process called antibiosis. So if you break down the word, it pretty much means against life. So what they do is when a tree is born, then the tree that, or the mom tree, let's call it that, will put out a substance all around the ground just to prevent trees from other species from growing, giving her saplings a bit of a chance of growing in this area. So as you can see, they've actually been quite successful because we've got trees of all different ages. We've got trees that are a little bit older further at the back, and then the new ones around here. So in doing that, they succeed to make their little thicket, and very few animals can actually get through a tamboti thicket. It's actually quite hard, and I wouldn't dare to put a car in between. But sorry guys, it seems like you cannot hear me properly, so we're going to fight the tamboti gremlins, and we'll be back with you once we manage to sort it out. But we're going to send you guys across to Trishala in the meantime.
Look what we found. The famous woodland kingfisher. Now we saw two that were kind of displaying. They were lifting up their wings to each other. Now only one remains, and we suspect that there's a nest down there in the tree somewhere. Polly saw a hole near the fork of the tree, and we think that maybe there's a nest down there. Now, I'm going to tell you an interesting story because I recently read this. And it is about the halcyon blue that is on the kingfisher's body, or that what we call halcyon blue. Can we just see if that kingfisher is still there? 'Cause I can't see it. Oh no, it's left. Instead, we have a Cape turtle dove. Hello. So this is the one that says, work harder, as Goli says. Maybe he can do the sound for us. Never mind, he did it for us. Very cool. I think that's the first time I've seen them do it, if that makes sense. It's always like you always hear them, you always see them. It's one of the most common sounds in the bush. In fact, I think I dreamt about it the other day. Dreamt of the sound of this Cape turtle dove, and I could hear it in my head constantly. And then I woke up in the morning. I mean, you have the day and the night birds, and you know what you're going to kind of hear at night. And this morning I woke up and I thought, oh no, it was just a dream. I was just listening to it in my dream. Nonetheless, at like 5 o'clock, it started again. Not even, maybe even a little earlier. I didn't catch the name of that one. All I heard was drink lager, and then that's all I heard. I think that was just Murray just trying to tell me that some of you are saying drink lager, work harder. It's got quite a variable sound. I think you could, or rather you could put a lot of sentences to it. And now he's done for us. Okay, sun is almost totally up, and it is starting to get warm. Joe says he doesn't want to work harder. Well, instead you can drink lager. See, it suits everybody. The bird for everyone. I'll also, no, a bit of work harder and then you drink lager. Then it's worth it. What else does it say, do you think? How fast can turtle doves fly? Is that what GM asked? I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that things like pigeons and that can often get up to 96 kilometers per hour, which is really, really fast. And of course, the fastest animal on Earth is the peregrine falcon, which can reach speeds up to, I think, 398 kilometers per hour when they dive, which is an amazing speed. But yeah, actually, I'd like to find out how fast turtle doves actually can fly. And I will do that for you, definitely. While I search around, I'm now on Chitwa. We are going to look around just a bit, and then we'll go to Isaac for a bit to see what he has.
Yes, another great sight. Massive big herd of buffalo. One of many that we have here. Just being in this area, I can see about 3 very huge herds. This is a good about 300 of them, and they are all milling around enjoying this sunrise this morning. Yeah, and they're quite busy, heading to the east. It looks maybe like there's water. As you can tell, they're moving quite fast. There's nothing, that has scared them, but they're all heading to the left. this is a massive herd. And this is one of those great sights that you get to see while you're here. Is that elephant behind, Bungay? Yes, it is. Yeah, we have some ellies at the back. I hadn't seen that. So it's two of the five of the the big five, and they're all busy. Looks like they are exchanging. Those ones want to go to the right, and these guys wants to go to the left, and everybody is in a haste. Yeah, this is the famous Cape buffalo, another one of those animals that is iconic to this beautiful continent, found in sub-Saharan Africa all the way to South Africa. So you say they are bodyguards? Yes, they are bodyguards. That's a female, very intensely looking at me. I don't know if I've offended her, or maybe she understands English. She can hear what I'm saying. Yeah. Jason, you want to know if I can count all the buffaloes? I cannot count all of them, but I'm able to figure out how many by looking at the size of the herd, what distance they cover, and I'm able to guess because I come from a family where we raised cattle, and I looked after my father's cattle, and I could be able to say, this is 50, 100, 200, and in this case here, I will say it's around 300. Easy. They are very scattered. I'll say 300. But if I was in the air or if I had a drone, I would be able to count. But I'm just taking a guess. Herds here, breeding herds, range from 150 to 800 in the Mara. We see quite some very huge herds. This is what we call a breeding herd, which is mainly, consists of fully grown bulls, half-grown bulls, females, youngsters, and newborns. And here, they move quite a lot because they are water dependent. They have to drink every day. So they cover long distances. Oh, there's some mating. Yep. Yeah. So actually, it is rather interesting because that was not. Cool breeze, you asked me, would a single lioness try and take on this herd right now? I would say no. It's one of those things that they would not even think about. It's too dangerous. So it wouldn't try. They have to be more than maybe two big males might try, but one, no. It's very risky. It's very risky. That is like playing with fire for just a lion or a lioness. These guys are not very used to vehicles, and that's why we have stopped at quite a distance, and they're trying to get away from us as much as possible. These areas are areas that they don't see very many vehicles, so they're still very skittish, and they're heading somewhere. Looks like they're on a mission. It's very peaceful here and very open, so they are able to see long distances either way. And so if there's a threat, they will detect it from a long distance. And so that's why they're so relaxed. This is a very formidable herd for any pride of lion to try and get to them. Arkara H7, what a name. Quite an interesting name, hard to forget. You asked me if they stick to this area most of the year. No. Breeding herds cover long distances every day. And the reason is, if they stay in one area, they will overgraze the grass, that causing soil erosion if there is too much wind or rain. So a breeding herd covers lots of distance. Maybe the last time they were here, maybe it was 3 months ago. And so they're passing through because there is nice and lots of fresh grass. They're passing through here. They cover long distances every day. Big bulls, when they reach around 7, 8 years old, they become too big and clumsy, so they end up sticking to one area longer, finding water, cover, and grass, and they stick to one area for much longer because they're too big to follow the breeding herd around. So those are the ones that stick to certain areas for longer, unlike a breeding herd. This is a breeding herd, and they do cover quite a long distance every day. In a day they can go even 3-4 kilometers, and they'll come back to the area every a couple of months or weeks. Dash. Yeah, you say the elephant doesn't seem to mind. Well, most of the grazers don't seem to have a problem with each other until that safety distance is broken away. They will tolerate other grazers up to a distance of about 3 meters, especially when they are this size, like rhino, elephant, buffalo. Then they'll, chase each other. But there's nothing to fight about with the grazers, so they won't, they don't mind each other. That is a male Maasai ostrich. Another one of Mara specials. Looks like he's all by himself, quite a ways out. They do hang around by themselves until breeding season. That's where sometimes you find them with a flock of females and other males in their colorful pink colors, waiting to excite females so that they can mate with them. Sorry, here there is a very young one. I don't know how old it is. Yeah, it's very young one. I think it's maybe, this one is much older. Yeah, maybe that's about 2 months. There is another one way back there that's quite young. Yeah, there's quite a few. You see them? This is why it's called a breeding herd, because there's lots of little ones. These are only maybe 3 days old. You can still say they're still a little bit wobbly. Yeah, very dependent on their mom's milk. Oh, cheeky mongoose, you ask me, do the Maasai have the right to consume a buffalo? No, not actually them, but everybody in the country has no right to consume any animal. Not only buffalo, but any animal is not allowed to be consumed. Mind you, there are people who consume it illegally, but consequences are so tough you don't want to think about it. So nobody consumes anything, including the Maasai. Yes, this looks like a young bachelor herd of bulls, and they are joining in the breeding herd which is in front of them. Looks like they were out in the open plains, and now they're heading towards the thick, grass. I don't know how close this truck will take me to them, but it's such a beautiful herd. Always nice to see them. See, when they're huddled like that, seems to be like there's something they're not very sure of. And you can tell by that little guy lifting his head. He's not very sure of. Maybe the youngsters haven't seen buffaloes before. He's trying to chase the buffalo, you saw that. And you can tell the bulls are saying hello to each other at the back there. Good morning. How are you? That's how they greet each other. Friendly greeting is they use the tusks to wrap around, join the tusks and then wrap the trunk around each other. That is to say hello. Yeah. Actually, that is a female to the right and a male to the left. Maybe they are related and they are remembering, they haven't seen each other for quite a while, because that's such a very long greeting usually doesn't last very long. Remember, this is all live, happening right now, right here in the Masai Mara. 77, you asked me, actually, could you repeat the question? I understand something gangs up. 77, please come up with that question. Seven. Now I got your question. Do the buffaloes gang up on those attacking them? Yes, they do. They do gang up and try and fend off the threat. I have seen them chasing off hyenas. I have seen them chasing off lion. Yes, they do gang up. Sometimes they are successful and sometimes not. Yeah, this looks like an old lady. She's done very well. She's got a bit of a skin disease. It's called by a certain mite. That's why you see it's like bare. She's done quite well, you know. They live up to around 18 to 25 years. So she has done quite well, you can tell. Yeah. And some oxpeckers are taking a ride. Yellow-billed oxpecker. It is still quite cool and chilly here, although the sun is up. So I'm sure those little guys are taking the warmth of the buffalo at the same time trying to get as much sun as possible. Yeah, they are very scattered everywhere. Long distance from where we are. And, you know, from all the way up there to here, they're all scattered. This is a very different part of the Mara that I'm in today, unlike where we normally are, where it's slightly like bushy and some rolling hills. Here it's all flat. My main aim to come here was to look for the fastest one, the cheetah. I'm still in search of them. There's still plenty of signs, and I'm headed down. This is south. I'm headed towards south, which is Serengeti. It's not far from here. It's only about maybe 10 km, but I wouldn't go that far. We're gonna go try and get down here and see if we can find something for you. So just sit back and continue joining us, because this is all happening right here, right now. Yes, while I drive down, I'll link you down to Greater Juma, to Trishala, with a beautiful bird.
No rain today, eh? Nothing. We're in for a very dry spell again.
We have a wonderful sighting of this brown snake eagle. I think this is really cool because it's quite close. I think this is the closest I've been to them without it flying away. We're so used to that. And you can see the really clear yellow eye, the really nice hooked beak, and the kind of ruffled feathers on the head. A crown almost. But it puffs up sometimes. And it's really noticeable, or one of the identifying features, because it's got quite a big head compared to its body. And I'm inclined to say, sort of like Koli. If you, he'll tell you more about that when he comes on. Really nice. Just perched up on that tree. We saw a couple cars pass him, and he didn't even react. So we thought we could creep a little closer. So of course, they are snake eagles, so they eat, well, they specialize in reptiles and snakes, I think. Cheeky mongoose would like to know if eagles eat other birds. Yep, some of them do, and they kind of hunt them from the air as well, which is quite an interesting thing to see. You'll see them circling above other birds, and then they can grab them mid-air. cannibalism always interesting. So many questions to ask with that. I'm going to read up a bit about cannibalism. I wonder if it affects your nutrition and things like that. Taylor would like to know if they're immune to snake venom. I don't think so, Taylor. I wouldn't say that they would be immune to snake venom. No, in fact, some do get blinded in that by spitting cobras and that sort of thing. When they digest the venom, I don't think they are immune to it. It would be very specialized to be immune to venom. The sunlight is just kind of falling on him soon, or will be falling on him soon. Oh, what a lovely silhouette. Very nice. So, what is he sitting there and waiting for? Either a meal? I would think so. I've seen quite a few reptiles around Chitwa. I remember the last time that we came down here, there was a tree agama, other little lizards and terrapins, reptiles all around. So he's trying to maybe scout out a snack. Maybe warm up a little bit as well. Look at that. Don't you think they have such a serious look? Ooh. Still a bit sleepy. Yeah, I'm saying I think they have such a serious look and an intense look. Most eagles. Ah, there you get a nice picture of him on the tree fully. Isn't that pretty? Yes, and we have some impala and some helmeted guinea fowl. So where we are at the moment is on a bit of a bare strip on Chitwa. And I think that they're kind of all taking advantage of the grass that's sprouted on the side and the fact that they can see clearly any insects and such that are crawling about. Oh, there's so many yawns today. Oh, isn't that cute? And then just a lick of the lip. Oh, very sleepy. Go have a nap, guys. Preferably in a safe, open place where nothing's going to eat you. Anyway, let's go to Lauren, that is with the wonderful characters that you have now made that I got to meet recently.
So we made it to Buffelshoek Dam, and of course, who is here but none other than Scuba Steve and Snorkel Sarah. Now, it's always worth to say good morning. I would feel incredibly guilty to actually drive past this pair, and they look very, very comfortable and happy in the morning light. The sun is rising and they're just completely submerged in the water, and I'm incredibly jealous. I do sometimes wonder if the hippo is my land spirit animal. However, let's not go down that route. So we often have bets among us within camp. We wonder if we will ever come to Buffelshoek Dam and find these pair doing anything other than what they are doing right now. But this has yet to be seen. So they do just stay submerged all day long. Now, they've completely made Buffelshoek Dam their territory. Don't see any other hippos around here other than Scuba Steve himself. and his lovely lady friend, Snorkel Sarah. Look at that beautiful morning light just shining down on them. Now, as it gets hotter, they will just remain in the water. There's no way as the sun rises and gets to that strong midday heat that the hippos would risk losing the water. They have, of course, got really, really thick skin. They've got that huge layer of thick skin, but the epidermis is very, very thin, and that's what dries out. So it's not the skin entirely, it's the epidermis on top. And they can risk getting sun damage, and they can risk completely drying out. So Dash Dash is asking, do I think Scuba Steve has his certification? That is a brilliant question. Well, I hope he does. Let's put it that way. Otherwise, why are we calling him Scuba Steve? So Dash Dash, very, very good point for the morning. I wonder if he does have his certification. He's probably a lot better at it than I am, because he doesn't even have to have an oxygen tank, does he? And they do say that hippos submerge for between about 5 to 6 minutes, but honestly, I've yet to see that. I'm sure they can. I'm sure it's physiologically possible. But, I mean, I always see hippos sort of popping under and popping back up again within a minute. But that is probably because they're relaxed. But I'm sure if they were under some sort of threat or they really needed to just submerge themselves, I'm sure they can go to 5 to 6 minutes. But I have yet to personally see that. Now, if Snorkel Sarah just puts her head up properly, you can actually see a big difference in the head size between the two of them. Scuba Steve is much larger, and you can see that in the size of his head. And generally, bulls are much bigger anyway. So it's quite easy to see when the two of them are both looking like that, which one is Snorkel Sarah and which one is Scuba Steve. I'm going to end up getting muddled up one of these days and end up saying Scuba Sarah and Snorkel Steve, and that's going to confuse everybody. But yes, at the minute, I'll try my hardest to stick with Scuba Steve and Snorkel Sarah. It's a bit of a mouthful. Lego Man's asking, what do hippos eat? Well, they are grazers. They're herbivores. So a lot of people think that they eat in the water, and that's why they're in the water. Maybe they're eating fish or other sorts of wonderful delights that are in the dam, but they are not. They will not be feeding the snow. They feed at night time. So hippos' life, I guess you could say, entirely evolves around the sun. So once that sun sets at night time, these hippos will actually leave the dam, and they'll skip quite jauntily. I just love watching a hippo walk. There's just something so funny about it, the way they carry that immense body weight on these tiny little tippy toes. And he will graze, well, both of them will graze all night long on the vegetation nearby. Now, you will rarely see a hippo moving too far from water at night. So for these two, Buffalo's Hook Dam, oh, we're getting a good view now. Hello, good morning. These two have obviously made Buffalo's Hook Dam their home, their sort of territory, if you like. And it will be very unusual to see them wandering really, really far at night time. They need to keep moist. So they will move away and forage at night time, but it's highly unlikely that they will actually go that far. So as soon as that sun starts to rise and the morning heat comes through, they will both need to be back at Buffalo's Hook Dam. Now, it's also highly unlikely that they will forage together. They most likely will just forage alone and wander off and do their thing at night time, and then both come back into the water in the morning. So they are grazers, and they eat the vegetation. So they do not eat fish. They are not feeding in the water. Now, it is said that at night time they can actually eat anywhere between 15 to 40 kg. So that is, I'm just doing a calculation in my head right now, maybe about 33 pounds to around 90 pounds, I hope I got that right, of grass in a night. So they do feed heavily in the night. And I hope I've got the name of this person right, but I think, gee, he's asking a question. Are hippos the deadliest animal out here in Africa? Ooh, deadliest is a very tricky word, because deadliest could refer to also venomous snakes and what like that. But if you mean dangerous, I'll go down the route of dangerous animals to actually encounter. Yes, hippos are right up there with elephants and buffalo. Now, hippos just tend to be notoriously aggressive. They just tend to be such fighters. They really love sort of clashing with one another and also being very territorial and aggressive towards anything that they encounter. Now, they can actually run faster than you think they can. They do have these heavy bodies that they've got to sort of really hold up when they're on land. They've got to put effort into it, but they can actually run quite fast when they really want to. I think it's up to 40 kilometers per hour. So that means if a hippo was to charge you on land, you would be in big trouble. And they've got these enormous jaws. The size of their head is huge. The jaws are very, very powerful. And of course, they're equipped with these enormous tusks as well. So they're very powerful animals, very aggressive, and this combination, of course, isn't a good idea to encounter one. So yes, they are up there with the most dangerous animals, but when you say deadliest, there actually is a lot of deadly animals out here, including spiders that can bite and snakes that can bite, but hippos are notorious to just be aggressive all the time. Now, I was hoping we might have got a yawn so I could actually show you the powerful muzzle, if you like, that they can stretch wide open and show off their lower canines. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that yawn, are we? No. Most likely not. So we are going to move on because we do have a mission to complete. We are still looking for our leopard. I'm not forgetting about that. We're still going to just head north for now. We've heard the lions are definitely in the Buffalo's Hook area where we cannot traverse, but we haven't heard any update on the leopard. So just going to check this northern boundary and fingers crossed we find the birthday boy. Please send all your good vibes, all of them, all the way through the computer into the World Wide Web, and they land here in Rusty's vehicle. And we can find Hosanna. Alrighty. So if the lions are in Buffalo's Hook area, we're obviously at the dam, but actually Buffalo's Hook area, I have a funny feeling, and it's just a little niggle, that Hosanna will not be there. I have a funny feeling Hosanna is indeed on Juma. Now, I have no proof of this, of course. It's just a feeling that I have, but I really don't think he'll be in Buffalo's Hook. We saw him cross a few days ago, but I don't think he will be there. Justin Mom is saying he hope he grows to little Juma. I think that's what the comment was there. You might have to repeat that. Are you referring to Hosanna? If you are, I do hope he does live a wonderful... To rule Juma. Okay, I got it. So taken over from the Duke, of course. I hope he does too. We all do. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting what actually happens with Hosanna. But again, we just don't know. It's all just speculation. There is no concrete evidence as to actually what is going to happen with this leopard. Tingana's been very tolerant of him up until now. He knows it's his son and he knows he can steal his food. But what's going to happen in the next 6 months, shall we say? 6 months would take us up to July, August, I think, if I've calculated that correctly. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Hosanna. And if he does leave for a period of a few days, we do start to feel, oh, where's our boy? Where's he gone? We're so used to just seeing him around all the time. But don't worry, I have no fear that he has dispersed right now. I just think that we are struggling to find him, because the vegetation just does not make it easier for us. I am positive if it was the winter and the grass was no longer long and it was dry, we would have been able to follow that honey badger. But c'est la vie, as the French say, that's how it works. We will get our honey badger one day. Now, this is where the tracks were for the male leopards. I haven't actually spotted the tracks myself, but they are on this huge highway that runs in front of me. So that's why we are up in this area, just to see if we can see the tracks. And if we... Oh! I think we just literally drove past them. Well, I got the tracks. I have found them. I don't actually know where we're going, but we're going to really inspect and find out where these tracks are heading to. So for now, let's go over to Isaac and see how he's getting on.
Okay, here I am in the beautiful plains of Masai Mara, looking around, hoping to find that spotted one. I've been looking everywhere. Looks like they're really hiding this morning, or maybe they've changed their color and I can't pick them up. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I'm sure if there is one and we are on the right track, we'll be able to find it for you. But I've been looking all over to see, if we can find them. All these plains you see here, possibilities are there, because these open wide places are places where they are supposed to be here, and we are using our camera. I'm using my binoculars, and Bungay is scanning the plains. You can see how vast they are. It is hard sometimes to cover them, with a vehicle. Sometimes you have to use the camera or binoculars to try and locate what is there. But definitely all these plains are not empty. There is something somewhere. It's just that our luck hasn't stood. So we are still looking, and you never know, before the end of this live broadcast we'll be able to find you one. These places are places that if you look for long enough you will get lucky, and so don't give up yet. We are still here and we're looking for them. I'm gonna go further down and then stop somewhere down this way, and again do the same. We have to continue driving, then stop, drive, stop, have a look, drive, stop, have a look. Otherwise, you might miss something. They're somewhere. And this is why it's called game driving. You drive, you stop, you play, and you might be able to find it. In my guiding years, I used to be able to use the radio and call my fellow colleagues and ask them, hey, have you seen a cheetah? Have you seen a lion? It was much easier. Now, it is not as easy, because sometimes you come to these beautiful places and there's no vehicle, and I don't have any comms. I have to find them myself in areas like this. So it does make it a little bit tougher, but also very entertaining and very fulfilling. When you find one, you feel like you have achieved something. And this is what we are looking right now. Hope we're not keeping you waiting for very long, but I'm sure if you follow me and we find one, you will feel very satisfied that you've been with me along this journey since, this morning. Sometimes it's very much like fishing. You will drive and drive and drive and eventually get lucky, and then, sometimes you don't. While I do this, let me link you back to Trishala, who's got a giraffe for you.
Now, I asked for a giraffe this morning, and a giraffe is what we have found. Well, actually, what Koli had found. Now, he was sitting so nicely for us, he or she. I'll tell you a bit about that just now. I'm just going to reposition. I'm going to actually go around this road here. So I asked for a giraffe, and a giraffe is what I got, which is quite exciting. like them. My dad always told me that I look like a giraffe. Where are you? There we go. There it is. Now, I was just saying to James that I read something really interesting that claimed that female giraffes forage at the browse at the bottom of the tree, whereas with their necks lowered, and males do the same but with their necks extended up. Now, how true that is, I don't know. And then what do you interpret this as? Is this is somewhere in the middle? I'm not sure. Always loves watching them eat. What are you eating there? Is that a buffalo thorn? Looks like it. So a buffalo thorn has the one hook going straight and the other one, the one thorn that's straight and the other one that's hooked. And this guy still manages to wrap that around his tongue and pull it into his mouth and have a good meal from it. Justin asked if that's my favorite fact or if I have another fact about a giraffe. Are you talking about the one with the head or the eating of the leaves? I'm not sure. But I don't have favorite facts. I have facts, really, but none that I favorite. What are the other ones I can tell you about? The tongue is purple. Maybe if I had to choose a favorite fact, it would be maybe the tongue of the giraffe, which I think is really, really something else. It must be so strong to firstly pull leaves and thorns through, and to have melanin in it to strengthen it. I think it's very cool. Sean would like to know if giraffes can be dangerous to humans. They can. Like all large mammals that we have in Africa, they have the potential to be dangerous. And there have been a few incidents where giraffes have kicked human beings and, if not killed them, have left them in a pretty bad shape. So all these big animals have the potential to hurt us, especially if we get too close or we're not sure how to handle them. That's why it's important to be respectful of the animal and its space. We can only interpret up to a point. It's the same with us. If you back us into a corner, you are likely to get hurt, even if the person is tiny like me. So, we were talking about the neck and the foraging lower and all of that. And when I first saw the giraffe, it had a lowered neck, and I thought, oh, maybe it's female based on that. But then I see that the ossicones, the little horns at the top of the animal, are bald. So to me, that means that it's a male. And of course, the color is quite dark. I had a comment there that the tree must be very tasty. It is very tasty. It's a buffalo thorn, and that tastes kind of like spinach. And you'll find that the tastiest trees for animals, or for us as well, are the ones with the most defenses, because it's it all works together. The tree is tasty, or it's high in nutrients. We think of it as tasty because it is high in nutrients, and we're meant to think of it as tasty, then we'll eat it. And then those are the ones that have defenses. So you always find that the nutritious ones usually have thorns and other types of defense. I like when I read in my tree book, it says armed or unarmed. I think that's quite cute. Apart from the tongue, you can see the lips working there as well. The lips are hard and moving, and just kind of pull it off. And I'll tell you why my dad says I look like a giraffe, and I'll show you, James. I will show you why my dad says I look like a Apparently I can chew like one. Would you like to see? Pretty, hey? Anyway, let's go to Bushwalk, who has interesting ants.
Well, we apologize for all the issues that we've had with the audio this morning, but it seems like they are at last sorted and we are on our way to find all the wonderful little creatures during the bushwalk. Now, we are looking at a colony of harvesting termites, and those really mean-looking things, the ones that are bigger than everybody else, those are the soldiers. And as you can see, their pincers are much bigger than the ones of all of the other ones around them, and that is because their main job is to protect the colony from any invasions, anyone that might want to try and come and eat them, particularly ants and other creatures. Now, at this time of the day, normally the termites, the ones that we see that make those massive fungus, those massive termite mounds, they are inside because they are mostly white in color, the workers, so they don't really have anything that's going to protect them from the sun. Whereas this ones, you see, they've got more melanin, that dark and brown pigment on their skin. That's why they are of a much darker color. And that's why they can forage and they can look for food and even build their nest during the day, but also, well, of course, during the night. So it's a bit of an added advantage that these guys have when compared to the rest of the termites, or the ones that build those very nice big termite mounds like the one that we were standing on at the beginning of the drive. Seems like this particular mound had a bit of an accident, and all the workers that are around here are busy rebuilding the mound. So you can see that they're all busy at work, and actually you can almost every now and again hear them moving and making their little noises. So all the little ones that we're seeing around there, those are the workers, and as I mentioned earlier, the big ones, those are the soldiers. Now you've got to watch out for the soldiers, and actually when Davi was sitting down we had to make sure that there were no sneaky ones trying to come and bite us, because I have been bitten by some of them before, just because you stand in an area and you don't really realize what's going on sometimes underneath your feet, and they hold on really tightly. So in some areas, and most likely with species of ants in South America, the indigenous people, they use them almost as stitches, because when they bite, they pretty much do not let go. So they bite along, and then you just put them onto your skin, and then it helps if you've got a wound or so. And this ones, I think they're not big enough for that, but they can still give a very, very sore bite. Beautiful. Lisa, I agree with you. They are incredibly fascinating creatures, and the fact that they come in and out during the day and during the night, and then there are so many different species, and also, if you think about it, there are thousands, if not perhaps even millions, of different species of termites under the ground that we walk every day. It's something quite amusing, and because there are so many of them, a lot of people consider them ecosystem engineers, and they've got a very important shape in the amount of vegetation that they might be little, but when there's millions of them and they go and they get the grass and then they put them back and down into the bottom of the soil, and then they bring the soil up when they're building their termite mounds, they're constantly moving and changing the ecosystem in the areas that they work in. So it's actually estimated that in the Kruger Park, the termites, the different species of termites that we see, they have a bigger impact in shaping the ecology and shaping the ecosystem than actually elephants, which is the biggest animal that we get. So it's quite interesting that something so small in such high numbers can do so much. Alrighty. Oh, you've got the soldier once more. Well done. They are very intimidating looking creatures, and then of course, because they are the soldiers and their work is to protect everyone, they are bigger, stronger, and their pincers a little bit more, oh well, not their pincers, their jaws look a little bit scarier. Alrighty guys, we're gonna leave you at work. Obviously you've got a lot to do this morning. Luckily they weren't too bothered with our presence here, and we didn't annoy the soldiers enough for them to come chasing us. They know that we mean well. They know that we're not here to eat them like some of the other animals would. I'm gonna give it to chimps and other creatures that actually feed on ants and termites and things alike that have such ways of protecting themselves. Alrighty, let's get going. We're gonna carry on. We're still on the search for Hosanna, but we're going to go somewhere else. We're gonna try and check a different range line. Just gonna help. Ooh, Davi. Sure, and there is a variety of creatures that will feed on the termites. So we've got anything like the pangolins, which, we can always hope to see, but they're very hard. The aardvarks, when the alates, so the future kings and queens of the colonies come out, then they're predated on by all sorts of species of eagles, bush babies. There's, even the aardwolves. I think Nkoro had a sighting one a few months ago, which was very, very unique. I've never seen one in the wild. And it's a creature that almost looks like a big jackal mixed with hyena with stripes on the side. And just pretty much they're a good source of protein. So anything that can will eat them, particularly smaller predators. I've seen jackals eating them as well. So we'll see. We're going to check the drainage line around Galago this time around. Rex has a feeling that maybe Hosanna has moved down there because there were some hyena tracks heading in the direction we were. So we think maybe if there was a kill, perhaps there was a bit of an interaction. So we're going to abandon that area and check another one just in case. And while we do that, we're going to send you guys across to Isaac.
And they look like some very active ones. This is Topi, an antelope that is found in East Africa, commonly in the Serengeti and Masai Mara. It is dotted in other parts of Kenya and Serengeti only. And young ones are usually tawny color. When they get about 6 months is when they start getting those dark blotches on their thighs and forelegs. This is a mother and young, and the youngster, I would give him maybe about 3 months. Maybe the first vehicle he has seen, the little guy. So very, very inquisitive. But this is a beautiful antelope, the fastest one in our little, plains here in the Masai Mara. Very shiny coat, looks like everything is happening, everything is, it's been eating well, so everything is perfect for it. Such a beautiful color. Yeah, those are more. Yeah, the attention of the impala have caught them, they're wondering exactly what is he running for. You can tell that's a male and he's checking the females. Now with all this plenty of grass, females come into estrus and the males will go around checking, if there's any female that has come into season. Yeah, they are looking. You ask Ravinda, you ask me, which topi is this? We don't have any other topi. It's the only one. It's called the topi. In Southern Africa, there is another one that resembles this. It's called the tsetse, but we don't get tsetse in East Africa. So I'm, just gonna concentrate on the topi. It's called topi, and they do the annual migration. When I talk about migration, I'm talking about the migration of wildebeest and zebra from the Serengeti all the way to the Mara, and they amount to around 20,000 of them, 20 to 30,000 during migration. So they are not that many, but quite commonly seen in the Serengeti and Mara. That's a mother, and the youngster is still very dependent on its mother's milk. You can tell the mom has got lots and lots of milk. Yeah, they have decided to do a bathroom break. Maybe in anticipation to, getting away and being able to be lighter, get away from predators. That's a typical behavior with topis, where they like standing on high mounts to have a good vantage point, scan around everywhere. I think they act like sentries. They look, into the plains. They become the police of the plains. And in case there is a threat, they are usually able to detect it. There's no other animal that's able to creep in close to them when they are high like that. Like that guy, right now, when he's looking like that, nothing would approach them. Yeah, we have some impala running towards these guys. Yeah, they have turned around. I don't know if you heard that noise. That was impalas. Male grunting, chasing for a female. Yeah, we're still in these beautiful plains, and my aim is still the same. So I'm going to leave these beautiful creatures here and continue on. See if we can find what we're looking for. Yeah, so I'm going to drive. Okay, while I head down, I'll link you to Duma, where they have some trucks. Happy trucking.
So what do we have here? We thought this was really interesting, that it's worth showing you. We have lion tracks. This is probably the most visible one. And it's huge. You can tell it's a lion and not a leopard just from the sheer size of it. Now, if you follow these lion tracks up, you're going to see something very, very interesting. There has been some sort of chase with buffalo. Now, if you look, you can see the perfect buffalo track mark. So we know the buffaloes have been here. And as we go a little bit further up, they have ran. You can see that there's been some sort of running. And you can see the buffalo tracks heading off into Buffalo's Hook with the lion tracks. So you see all these deep groove marks from the buffalo running, especially here. So they're either being chased or something has happened here for sure. And I just saw a lion track. Where have you gone? Oh, I've lost you now as I was walking and talking. Anyway, you can see the lion tracks follow behind the scrape marks of the buffalo. Isn't that incredible? If BK is just able to give you a view of the whole area, you can just see that something has happened here. These lions, whichever lion it may be, has indeed followed the buffalo right through here. And unfortunately, we can't go through here. But I thought this was just incredibly interesting. As you're driving, you're actually able to get a sort of understanding of something that's happened just by looking at this whole area. So I think those lions were chasing the buffalo. Now, I'm not connected. So just let me connect to the world again. There we go. I just thought I would show you all that. It was incredibly interesting for us, actually. It goes on the other side as well. We're parked on a bit of a hill. Sorry, BK. But yes, there we go. There has definitely been a scuffle here. Well, I wonder, the Nkohumas were very, very hungry the last time I saw them. So I wonder if they managed to get a buffalo last night. Anyway, it's not a leopard update, but it is still a big cat update. So the lions, as I mentioned, well, most of them are said to be in Buffalo's Hook. And that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because the track marks are going that way. But of course, as we've seen a lot recently, the prides can get separated. And there's the Evoca males, which don't always stay with the Nkohumas. So we still have the potential of finding a lion. Now, while I am searching, there is someone who has not said hello yet. So let's go across to him and give him the chance.
Good morning, good morning, good morning again. We've swapped seats with Trishala. So, my name is Oli, and joining us behind the camera is still Uncle James. Welcome, Uncle James. So, we have the beautiful flock over here of birds. These birds are called Dek Kop. That's an Afrikaans name. In English name is Thickney. And the Dek head means fat head. So they are out and about, sunbathing, getting ready for the day. And oh, I thought this was a young one, but it's oh, and a croc. Just look how they relax around this croc, because they know they are fast, they can fly and maneuver so quick. So as we know, the croc is a little bit slower outside the water, unless the thing is so vulnerable that it will catch it. And the birds, we know, they can take off easily. So they are getting some energy from the sunlight. So that's why we are looking at them here outside. can hear the calls. It's from one of these birds. And normally this is the call you hear at night time. You can see the head is big, that's why they call the big heads or the fat heads. And there's not a lot happening here. I'm at Chitwa Dam. Yes, Jeanette. What a beautiful comment this morning with my first segment. Yes, this one looks like a young fellow, young chap. You can see his eyes, not so big, but hopefully it will grow into this big chap. I haven't seen big crocodiles around Chitwa compared to the Mara. I don't know why, but hopefully maybe we'll be lucky to see a big one, or they can grow to bigger size like the Mara crocodiles. Gary Gray is wondering maybe a big croc, a big. Oh, Jacob is on the nest. Sorry about that. I don't think it's on a nest, but it might be. But I don't think they are ground nesters, these ones. But ground nesting birds. But I haven't seen its nest before, so that's why I'm taking a guess here. It's only sitting there because they really need to be well camouflaged to have a nest. So what it's doing there, it's just sitting, and it feels safe because there are quite a number of dead cops around this place. So there's a lot going on right here. And that's why we see these birds around this water, because they feed in a wide range of prey, including crabs, aquatic beetles, frogs, insects, and small fish. And you can see the big.
Did you accidentally summon me?
You can see their beaks. They're so good to catch a fish or maybe crack a crab. And on the left-hand side, we have our famous birds who are always around the water holes, which are called blacksmith lapwings. And oh, Rosemary wishes that Hosanna can show himself. Yes, I also wish that, and I haven't forgotten to sing Hosanna a song, a birthday song. I will still do that. And maybe after singing a song, Hosanna will show himself, or he's still busy off to shopping to get himself his favorite cake. Who knows? And we have a lot happening here. Oh, we have the geese over here. They are also out and about. They are still scratching themselves. So while I'm on search of Hosanna, maybe I will be lucky to find his fresh tracks. And Lauren on the other side is doing that. So let's go to the bushwalk and see what they have for us.
Termites today. Now we have found another bunch of them. They all seem to be around here. And actually, it seems like some of them are trying to feed on this. But what is very interesting, you see these ones, they've got a lot more white in their skin coloration rather than black. So the black is what will protect them from the sun. But what they've done is they've actually dug a little tunnel. So they all come here, they grab whatever it is, the vegetation that they need, potentially to bring it back to the nest or to bring it back to their colony, and then they're going to go deep down underneath the ground to regurgitate what it is that they've eaten, and then they will put it in little comb-like structures, and in these comb-like structures there's a fungus that will grow, and then they will eat that fungus that grows in there. Now, you can see that they're all following the same pattern, and slowly but surely they started creating, as I mentioned earlier, a little tunnel that just to protect them from the UV light from the sun, because it's going to get very hot at some point, and I think they're just taking advantage of the fact that today is still a little bit overcast. It's not too hot, not too bad for them, so they can carry on moving around as we're doing. So you see the sun is there, sort of, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a very hot day. Like, if you look down here, I'm going to move this here. So you see they're all going into this tunnel. All of them coming in and out, so that is very clever of them. Using their skills and their mouth parts, they've managed to use the soil and put it in such a way that they can all fit in there. Although sometimes it looks like they don't really fit in there. They're just squashing each other in. And then some of them are going in, some of them are coming out, and then they're all coming to where this grass is, this kilimba here. Linga, sorry. And they all come back, and then once they're done collecting and their mouth parts are full and their body is full of what they need to collect, then poof, off they go back into the tunnel. And it's quite interesting because you see the tunnel follows all of this. So this has all been, and you can tell it's been built during the night or potentially during the beginning of the day today. It's all darker, so it's when this was all moist and wet. So you see all of it here and here and here, and then gone all the way down into the underground, which is quite interesting of them. So it's nice on overcast days like today, because then we get the opportunity to see some of the smaller creatures that perhaps when it's really, really hot, either we would not see them because they're hiding underneath the ground, or perhaps the ground would actually be blinding us when it gets too hot too, and then the sun, you can't really see what's going on. So it's been good in that sense. Hopefully we'll get some tracks of Hosanna. Now we are checking around Gallagher close to the pan and that drainage line. We do know that he likes hanging around here. So far we haven't had any luck with the tracks, but who knows, maybe we'll get lucky with some tracks somewhere. Hope dies last, and I wouldn't be surprised that for his birthday, Hosanna actually wanted to sleep in and then just have a rest from stardom. It must be exhausting being such a popular cat and then just entertaining people all the time. But we're going to try to convince him otherwise. I'm sure it's going to be a team effort. Or who knows, perhaps he's waiting for Tristan to wake up, who's having a wonderful sleep in. So Hosanna's birthday actually ended up being a gift for Tristan too. I'm sure he is going to be upset when he hears that I've said that about him, but I don't really care. All right, we're getting down into the drainage line a little bit more, and as I said, so far no luck. We've had lots of hyena tracks around here, so I wonder what's going on in the hyena world as well. I think it's potentially been a lot happening on Little Gowrie side, but everything that goes to Little Gowrie is bound to come out at some point. So hopefully we'll be able to... Ooh! I thought there was an animal moving, but no, it was just me kicking the sand like a bit of a dummy. Alright, we're going to carry on looking for herms. Hopefully we're going to be able to find some tracks, and if we do, we'll keep everyone posted. But let's head to Tolly before his creature flies away.
Every time I start mentioning a leopard name or starting looking for a leopard, it always turns into a birding session. So what's happening now, we have this beautiful looking bird. I know it looks so different or weird, or maybe a new bird to someone who hasn't seen such a bird. This bird is a very simple one, also looking tricky. It's a juvenile African fish eagle, and it still have some youngsters colors there. They take about 4 years to reach adult plumage. You can see now they are scruffy brown. And sometimes these birds are confused with the bird of prey, which is called an osprey. that usually prefers the very same habitat as an African fish eagle because it hunts fish. And the other differences is that a fish eagle is it's a raptor with 4 toes, 3 pointing forward and 1 pointing backwards. And then the osprey has a different feet structure. Let me show you. Let me demonstrate it to you just a little bit and show you what an osprey does. It has a K foot structure like an owl. So when it grabs a prey, it will go like this. It grabs it like this. So compared to this African fish, you can know they catch their prey like this because they have 3 toes pointing forward and 1 pointing backwards. So it catches prey like this compared to the 2 sides. So let's go back to our juvenile African fish eagle. So the osprey foot structure is called zygodactyl feet. And this bird we are looking right now, here it's our local resident, which is fairly common, and sometimes we don't see them, but we can hear their call. Good news, yes, you're saying these feathers are looking ruffled. It is because it's more relaxed and more young and young. It's more relaxed and young. You can see, more especially when the bird is relaxed, it ruffles its feathers. But these ones, because it's very young. And what is happening here is, I'm so confused because whether it's hunting or just drinking water or taking a morning shower, who knows? But when African fish eagles hunt, it goes to a high spot on a tree, for example, then it will look around and search around for a fish. And then it will dive there if it sees an opportunity, and then it'll grab it while it's flying. Oh, we have someone who's joining the crew here. This brown aquatic bird. You'll see its head after it landed. Yes, hammerhead. This is called a hammerhead and hammerkop in Afrikaans. Oh, nice stretch there. Oh, they make some little bit of dancing while defecating. That's so sweet of you. Or maybe dancing for Hosanna because it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Hosanna. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Hope you're enjoying your stay where you're hiding. And then I hope Tingana send you a text or maybe send you a voice note. That was really indeed a good landing. Doof, doof. Then you what? It defecate. So let me go on the other side and have a view of those hippos there. Because this was Trishala's mission, but we exchanged before we came this side. Hello, birds. No water monitor lizards yet. I can't see any of them. Let me sing for Hosanna. You know Hosanna's song? Hosanna, Hosanna, una. Oh, For some of the viewers, before I answer it, let me give you a view of this bird. Why is it called a hammerhead or a hammerkop? Oh, it flew off, but it's landing now, okay? There is foraging there. It is called a hammerhead or a hammerkop because of the shape of its head. You know, a hammer has this shape. Yes, has the very same shape. It resembles a hammer. Oh, I wonder what he's going to do with that piece of dung. But you know, hammerhead, they collect everything they can pick up with their mouth to their nest. That's why they have this huge and big nest. Talking about dung, let's go to the bushwalk with Ellie with some elephant dung.
I don't have dung. I potentially have the biggest pile of elephant dung I have ever seen in my entire life. Just for size comparison, and because Davy has a rough sense of humor, here I am lying next to elephant dung on my morning at work. But in all seriousness, we actually both of us stuck because we couldn't believe just how big this pile was. And to consider this all came out from the same animal, I mean, must have been a pretty big elephant. It seems like consistency-wise, he's fine. He's probably enjoying a lot of lush green grass and a few trees by the looks of it. It does not stink, thankfully, because otherwise I don't think I would be so happy lying down here. And I'm actually quite comfortable now. If it were lion dung, leopard dung, potentially not the best thing to lie next to, but luckily, I'm going to try and do this as smoothly as possible. Luckily, elephant dung doesn't really sting. It's just really grass, digested grass and seeds and pieces of tree and bark, so it's not that disgusting. You know, I wouldn't sit on it, but it's not nice. Lego Man, I agree, the biggest dung ever. I don't think I've seen one this big in a very long time. Davy and I, we stopped dead in our tracks. We were like, no, we've got to show this because we've never seen so much elephant dung together. But here's a bit of if you're into dung at all, which I think some of you guys or some of our viewers are, there are a few piles over here. Obviously, because of the rain, it's all pretty much broken up, and then so there's a pile there, a pile here, but it must have been quite a big elephant. My guess would be that it was actually a bull, just because of the amount, very big bull because of the amount. And you can see here, there's just one ball of dung, one over here. So if I put my hand on it, then you guys can see how big this pile of elephant dung. It's almost, I would say, the size of a maybe deflated soccer ball, or maybe bigger than a netball. I think that's probably about the right size. It is massive. Now, also, if we look around here, we can see what the elephant has been eating. So you see these little pieces of grass over here. Then there might be some twigs in there as well, perhaps a little bit further in, but I'm not too keen and start digging it all up. Just a few ones here and there and so on. So quite interesting to see everything that's inside. And, well, it doesn't normally look this way. As it gets drier, then it tends to dry up like a bowl. But because we've had a bit of rain and it's the summertime and there's a lot of dew in the mornings, then that's why it breaks down a little bit quicker. Lots of little creatures are going to benefit from this. We'll have some of the termites that are potentially going to start making their next colony or getting some food and some nutrients from in there. We would, of course, have the dung beetles in there somewhere. And with all fresh dung, always lots of little flies that are coming down for the moisture. I agree. Dung beetle paradise. We found it. It's right there, and it's bigger than the size of my head. I think. I mean, even if I stand here, just to give everyone an idea, it's just like a big pile. Like it's enormous. I don't think I've ever spoken about elephant dung that much, but this pile was definitely worth it. All right, we're gonna let the dung be. Unfortunately, I cannot see any dung beetles in there. So there are a few species of my earpiece is coming out. So there are some dung beetle species that will go and live inside in there. But while we're looking for some tiny little things, I think Torley has managed to find tiny little pretty thing. Let's go and have a look. This is falling out.
Look what we have found. We left Chitwa Dam just a few meters away from the dam. Then we saw these beautiful looking young baby chicks of a 3-banded plover. There's parenting session going on here. And the parent is not far from these youngsters here, teaching them how to forage and feed. And it's so difficult to spot these guys. That's why they have their ground nesters, and the coloration of the youngsters, it's more blending with the surrounding. They're starting to feed now because the parent is doing that, and while the parent is doing that, they will watch the parent, and then they will continue with what the parent is showing them. Hello, chicks. And there we have two here. You can't tell between the female and the male, but hopefully there's a male and there's a female. You can see it goes for sorry, the new shoots, because their beaks are not that strong yet, so they will go for these new shoots because they are much softer, very soft, while the parent is going for these hard ones. You can see it just had a small bite there. Yes, it has a big head, just like me. As Trishala was teasing me earlier on, he said I have a big head. Yes, I have a big head. That's why I tripped and I fell on her foot. She's laughing at the back. Here's the parent. This is a teaching session. So when the sun goes up and starts getting hotter and hotter and hotter, they will leave them and they will hide nicely there. So they will get a nice spot to camouflage. Then they will just wait there and the parent will keep an eye on them. This bird is easily recognized because of its bands on its chest. You can see the black-white bands on its chest, and it's small compared to the other lapwings. It's 3 times smaller than this blacksmith lapwing. And look how fluffy these cheeks are, so fragile. Ramit has a question. He wants to know, we get any raptors in Juma? Wagtails in Juma. Oh, wagtails. Yes, I've seen one wagtail since I've been here. I've seen a pied wagtail. It's a pied wagtail because it's black and white. And when they forage, they play with their tail. They wag their tail. That's why they are called the wagtails. Their tail can't sit still. Oh, look at that. Let's go up there, uncle. We have a blacksmith there up there, and we have that adult blacksmith, and then where's that plover there? And I want to show you the size difference of these birds. Yeah, there you go. Yes, look at the size of the adult, and that one we see right over there. It's like 3 to 4 times more than a blacksmith plover. Just look at the size difference. It's my first time seeing a plover so far from water holes. This is magic. This is magic. Let's move forward and leave these guys foraging around so that we don't give them a fright. Bye-bye, young chaps. It's just here. Bye-bye. I think it's the time for me to sing for Hosanna. Happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Oh, Hosanna. Happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Oh, Hosanna. Yes, I think I still have a nice voice, but I'm not a good singer, I know. We can't find any Kuchaba, Hosanna tracks yet, but hopefully let's cross fingers that we might see Hosanna or maybe Kuchaba. But we need to see Hosanna today to wish him a happy birthday. When I get back to the camp, I will take my phone and send him a voice note that why he didn't avail himself or show himself to us. So while I'm crossing fingers for Hosanna, let's go to Isaac with an update.
Here we are still in search of the elusive spotted one, cheetah, but still we have plenty of beautiful things to look at. That is a scene in the Masai Mara, all those Balanitis trees at the back. That is the backdrop of the Olololo Syria escarpment, a beautiful herd of elephants, going around their morning business. Yeah, these are quite different and very far from the first ones we saw, quite a long way. We have this very many herds because there is plenty and plenty of food in the Masai Mara. Nothing to worry about, so we come across these different herds every time. Looks like those two are saying hello to each other. That's a greeting. Yep. Seems to be very playful. You rarely see, adults playing like that. These are cattle egrets, and they're following the elephants around and taking advantage of those little insects that are disturbed by the elephants. Those two like young bulls, and actually that's play fighting. Sometimes it is essential and useful in a way that these fights will avoid conflicts in the near future, because once they play like this, it gets intense, and so they determine who's stronger than the other. And because elephants have got amazing memory, some of the best in the animal kingdom, they will remember in the years to come that they don't need to fight either for a female or for a tree or for a something nice to eat. They'll avoid that by just spelling each other and knowing that whoever it is, Mark, John, Michael, you beat me last time, so I won't even bother challenging you. It's all yours. If it's a female, it's all yours. If it's water, it's all yours. So they're actually quite important, this, play fighting from a very young age. And you can tell here, most of them is what they are doing. I don't think it's really appropriate to, it would apply to these two here, because one, you can tell, definitely is much larger than the other one. Yeah, but it's always nice to look at that. So sweet. Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely tell, that that guy to the right is just having a walk. Yes, that guy to the right is having just a walk in the park. While this is happening, I'll take you to Ali, who's got a fly.
So we go from the biggest creatures that we've got in the planet to one of the tiniest ones around here. We've come across this fly. I'm not too sure which one it is. My fly knowledge is not that good. But it is stunning and it is very beautiful. And I think it's here just getting some of the moisture, some of the dew that's been collected in the flowers of, I think it's Kalinga grass. Definitely would be my guess as to what this little fly is doing. So if perhaps we've got some insect ID inclined viewers, if you can help me out to try and identify this one, I reckon that would be quite a nice morning effort. So if you do find the answer, you find something similar, please do send it using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, or just let us know on the YouTube chat. It'd be very nice to find what it is. It is stunning. It looks a little bit, well, hairy like most flies do, to be honest. And then it's got a bit of white. So I think maybe the white might be the distinguishing feature there. And again, it's just in the grass. So I'm going to put my hand behind just to give a bit of a size reference. Hopefully it won't fly away. So I think you get it there with my fingers. Just about the size of a finger, maybe, I would say. Or a fingernail, not a finger. Puma, you say it looks like a mosquito. Well, not. Mosquitoes are a little bit more slender. I see what you mean now. Definitely. From now on, for mosquitoes. Alright, seems like the single coming issue is that it's almost underneath the ground with me. But I'm really just to think I don't know. It'll be interesting. So if you guys can help us ID it, that would be nice. Otherwise, I got homework. To do afterwards. Perhaps we'll be able to find him in one of the insect books that we've been collecting, because in the summertime that's what you do. You invest in flower books and in insect books, because there are so many things that come around that we don't see in the summertime. Now, we have managed to make our way all around back to Gowrie Dam. Still no signs of Hosanna, no tracks. So, I wonder where he is. Maybe he's having a relaxing spa day, having an impala / kudu topping light cake. But we're gonna carry on looking. I mean, there is a good chance that he could also be down in the drainage line. We know he had a kill here not too long ago, as far as I know. So we're gonna go around and see if perhaps we can get lucky. It would be very nice to find Hosanna today, especially in his birthday. He's gonna come out and play. Everybody's waiting to cheer him on. But if not, I suppose we can give the little king, or, well, the little prince, actually, because he's not king of anywhere yet, a bit of a chance to come out and do his thing. Judy, you say it's a bee fly. Well, that is actually quite interesting. I know very close to nothing about bee flies, so I will definitely be looking into them this afternoon, because I've never seen something quite like it, so it's going to be interesting. This is why I was just chatting to David earlier. This is why summer and just being out here on this type of bushwork is so interesting, because you get to spend so much time focusing on tiny little things that you wouldn't normally do if you work at a lodge. So it's very stimulating. It's part of the reason why then you want to learn, because every time you go out, you'll be like, oh, this thing that I've never seen, and this bee fly, and all sorts of different things. So thank you for the help and the ID. I'm definitely going to go back and then just try to learn something about them, because at the time, or at this point in time, I know very little about them. Fern, you're wondering if all flies have so much hair. Not to my knowledge. I don't think that they are as fluffy, but also we had some really good views that we managed to get of this one. So I think it's a bit of a mystery. I'm going to have to go and read up about them. I think I've been cut out. Ooh, we've got some nice tracks here. It's from one of the nocturnal creatures. I think perhaps this one over here might be a little bit better for you, Davi. This one here. So I don't know if you guys can distinguish it. It's been running around late into the night. So if I put my hand here, you'll get a bit of a size reference. So if you are wondering what this beautiful little creature is, I'm going to go with white-tailed mongoose. The reason why I say that is because, well, we can see the toes here, 1, 2, 3, and then tiny little pads behind here, and then the typical 2 claws in the front. So it's nice. So we can see that it's been walking all the way down there, probably sometime during the night, or actually it seems like early in the day. Seems like the tracks are on some of the vehicle tracks, which is nice. So this sneaky little one has been moving around here. So here is another track, and it's just been running in the general direction. Who knows, maybe it was even running after Rex. Oh no, diverted its course. So interesting to also get a view of different tracks in the morning, especially of little things. I think Lauren is also looking for Hosanna, so we're going to send you guys back across to her. Maybe she's going to get some luck.
So yes, we are still looking for Hosanna, to no avail. Oh, I cannot tell you how frustrated I am. I haven't even found a single track that I can follow. I haven't heard anything on the radio. I haven't heard anything with my ears. Hosanna boy, where are you? It's your birthday, don't be shy. So I heard Toli sang a song for you as well, so I have to ask you all, who was better? Me or Toli? I wonder what FC thinks. I hope they say me. FC are silent. I wonder if they're just too scared to tell me. My singing was the best. Oh, I really am a terrible singer. I am aware of that. But I had to. It's Hosanna's birthday. Hosanna is indeed the first leopard I came across when coming to Juma, and I have just the most amazing memories with him. Some hard memories, as some of you may remember. My first drive with him was a difficult drive. He was sleeping and he had a tiny baby newborn impala next to him, and when I got in the hot seat, he pounced on the impala and of course killed it, and it was a very difficult drive, but it's nature. But yes, Hosanna has given us some wonderful moments. I'm just taking a gamble here. I've been around all the hot spots. I even went back around quarantine. If you remember, we were on quarantine at the start of the drive, just because the sun is up now. So I was just checking to see if there was anything I missed in the dark. And again, nothing. Nothing. So to be honest, I'm just taking a gamble. I'm sort of cutting to the southwest, if you like, and just seeing if we can see any tracks. Daryl said my singing was sweet. Oh, thank you. Thank you. BK joined in too, don't forget. I think he definitely made me sound a little bit better. But I'm glad you all enjoyed it. So yes, I'm just taking a gamble. And sometimes gambles pay off out here. There has been drives where I'm just driving. And oh, hello, Tungana. Oh, hello, Tandy. When you find them completely unexpectedly. So that's what I'm banking on now at the minute, unfortunately. But yeah, you can probably hear the frustration in my voice. I've got my heart set on seeing that boy. He's probably like, no, it's my birthday. I'm going to hide wherever I'm hiding, and I'm not going to come out. That could also be another potential thing that is happening. Oh, the poll at the moment is 50-50. 50-50, really, guys? Who's the best singer? Oh, I'm going to have to go and watch this back and judge for myself. So let's go over to the man I'm in competition with himself, as he has a woodpecker.
Some species are getting busier and busier on Hosanna's birthday. Some are foraging, some are feeding, some are defecating. Some are flying, and some are mating. So what we have here, oh, here he comes again. This is a bearded woodpecker. It's one of the biggest woodpeckers we find here. sometimes it's more confusing because it has a beard or black stripes on its face. It has an enormous beak to do or chisel what we are seeing right now. It was taking off the bark of this tree. Can you see that spot where it was cracking, Uncle? Yeah, the bird is not there, but it left a mark there. You can see how. Here's the bird there. I wanted to show the viewers where the bird was pecking before it went there. Yes, you can see the brown patch there. It means it was searching for something there, using its beak, and the brain is protected by its tongue. So we have quite a number of woodpeckers we find here: the cardinal woodpecker, golden tail, bennets, and this one you're looking at, the bearded. And all three, which is cardinal, golden tail, a bearded, they forage in trees. And then the Bennet woodpecker, it prefers to forage on the ground. The birds are busy this morning. And what it does, it can sense or it can hear an insect underneath the bark, and then it will start pecking that spot, and then when it opens a hole, it will stick its tongue inside that hole so that it will put its tongue inside the hole, and then it will feel that spot. And then what it does, it has this sharp tongue, so it's like a spear, and then it acts as a spear. Then it will get that prey. So it sometimes is confusing because it has this long beak, thinking that it uses its beak to catch its prey. Oh, we have another bird here. Let me take my binoculars because I can't see properly here. Let me check it on with my binoculars. Oh, this tree is thick. There's a lot happening right now. Oh, it went through a thick spot there, but the woodpecker is still there. It just came back. Give us its view. And remember that these woodpeckers, they maneuver very quick around these trees because of their special foot structure and the claws they have. They have a zygodactyl feet, which the foot structure that two toes are pointing forward and two pointing at the back. So they help them to maneuver it in any direction of this tree or in any angle of this tree. Here's a big red cap there. Yes, all the viewers are loving the peace right here. I'm also loving the peace. You can hear the birds. Sure, let's take some few seconds to listen to the surrounding. Oh, we have a cuckoo on the right-hand side, on the flanks of this tree. Uncle James, can you see it? There. Yes. Yes, we have a cuckoo. Can you hear that That's not a cuckoo, it's a southern black-tit. Can you see the cuckoo, Malume?
Gone again.
It's gone. Oh, if cuckoos are not... They are not...
Something else there, then.
Yeah, there's something else there. Oh. I wonder what's happening. Oh, there's some fruits. Oh. Oh, there we have. Oh, look at the weaver, Madam. Yeah, it's a female southern musk weaver.
Redhead.
Oh. It's confusing us with a female musk weaver, and that's a female redhead weaver. And the birds we just saw now, these birds, they are in the same tree. I don't know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what is happening here. Are they foraging? Are they feeding on something? Or they are collecting some twigs for their nest? And some are looking for food underneath the bark. Oh, here's the... Oh, this is a brupru shrike. This is a brupru shrike. You saw that? And it's very confusing, a brupru shrike with a chin spot bertis, but knowing the size difference, this one is called a brupru shrike. It's 2 times bigger than a chin spot bertis. And it's my first time seeing this bird since I came here. Only heard its call. David, you want to know which type or cuckoo was there? That was a Jacobin cuckoo. Let me show you in the book what was there. Let me put in the dashboard. This was the cuckoo we saw right before it flew away. It's so confusing sometimes if you don't look for evidence. Normally we see the violence cuckoo. It's easily recognizable because of its straight chest. And then the one we saw earlier on, it had nothing. As you can see here, it's a Jacobin cuckoo. And since I've been here, the cuckoos, they can't sit still. They don't sit still. So let's leave these birds with peace and continue with whatever they're doing. So I'm still in search for Hosanna. Nothing in the meantime. Hopefully we'll find something. Hosanna, show yourself, please. Oh, but we still have a chance to see Hosanna today because we have this sunset safari. Lauren. So, do you think who sang very good, Lauren or Ollie? So, let's go to Lauren and see what she has for us.
So apparently I have been informed that Toli was a better singer than I. And do you know what? It's actually probably true. I completely believe that he was. He's actually got a really beautiful voice. So I'm not upset by that at all. I know I have a terrible voice, but it was all for Hosanna. So I'm sorry I put you all through that. My mother will probably be hysterical at watching that. However, yes, you're all right. He is a much better singer than me, but I'm okay. I am fine with that. I'm clearly not having any luck today. I don't even know how to put it into words. We've covered a lot of the reserve. We first went south, did a big loop up north, and then came all the way down again, and nothing. You're obviously getting some fantastic bird sightings with Toli, but with myself on this lookout for this leopard, it seems to just not be happening. Maybe I should have danced for Hosanna. Shall we dance, BK? BK can use his hand to dance. You ready? Okay, maybe we should have been like, happy birthday. This is for Hosanna. I'm definitely better at dancing than Toli is. So that's my birthday dance. And that's all I've got. That is all I have this morning. I'm just thinking where to go. Shall we go live? Everybody's loving it. Okay, I win the dance. Toli wins the singing. At least I've done something. BK is laughing at me in the back just now. Oh. So we had a birthday dance and a birthday song. Okay, I think we're going to go along. We're going to go right. I've got a feeling we should go right. Now, right here to my right-hand side is where the old hyena dens were. And you know, we do regularly sneak in and check. Every so often, we just have a little look and see if the hyenas are there in case they've magically returned. It's always worth checking. That's the rule in nature. Whether you're underwater in the ocean or whether you're in the bush, always check. That's the rule. But yeah, they have not returned to the old Philemon's dip. So I haven't been this road yet this morning, so it's always worth checking. But I have a funny feeling Hosanna's probably in a drainage line. It's not easy to drive on the drainage line. So for my amazing dancing, let's go across, well, back up to the Mara and see what Isaac's got.
Well, here I have the tall one, because the fastest one has eluded me. I was nearly almost going to sing you a song just to keep you entertained, because the prolonged silence was really killing me. But I came along this beautiful giraffe. Look at that intense look. Look at the eyelashes. It's all pure beauty in the Masai Mara. This is the Masai giraffe, and this is a youngster who is really interested in me. I don't know if he understands English or she understands English, because she was really looking at me. Look at that beautiful walk. It's called ambling, where, both the legs of either side are moved at the same time. Yeah, and looks like he wants to come around and go across the road just because he can. And here you can ask and say, why did the giraffe cross the road? Are you going to stop and say hello? Are you going to do a giraffe walk? Wow, look at that, guys. Now we have a full-size giraffe walking down the road. One of those few things that you rarely come across. And yeah, it is beautiful. Look at that. It looks like it's walking on high heels. Yeah. Thank you very much, Bungay, for that. Yeah, why did the giraffe cross the road? Hashtag. Yes, I wish I could, tell the giraffe that, that you envy her eyelashes. Yes, maybe in your next life I would wish you have eyelashes like that. Yeah, this young guy has decided to take a walk down the road. Looks like he has decided there is something better that way, and he's headed up the road. Yes, There is quite a good number of them, you know, all around to my left. Rosemary, what about the direction? Please come back again with that question. I would really like to answer you. I had only direction, Rosemary. Yeah, Wes, I understand the question now. Can it kick in all directions? No, not sideways, but forwards and backwards. And a little bit an angle to the right, like let's say maybe 25 degrees to the right. But forwards, yes. Backwards, yes. And actually a very lethal kick. A kick capable of killing a human, killing a lion, killing a hyena. Yeah, so whoever goes for giraffe must be ready for the outcome, which can be sometimes quite fatal. Yes, it is a kick that is very, very strong. This is where the giraffe becomes very vulnerable when they are feeding on short browse, because although they have the longest or the tallest neck upwards, they have the shortest when eating downwards or when drinking. They have to splay their legs to be able to reach for whatever they are going for, which makes them really vulnerable. Thank you, Jason. Keep coming with more. Yeah, yes, it got some green, but it did eat. So actually, I don't think it went for the green. Giraffe crossed the road. Dash, I don't know for what. What did it do? What did the giraffe do? The giraffe crossed the road. Dash, I don't know, because it wasn't for the green. Yes, look at that. It's really beautiful, how he goes down, how she goes down, eating. You really see that side of the neck of the giraffe. Every now and then it has to come up, because although the neck is equipped with very sophisticated kind of reducing flow of blood to the head, it has to stand up to reduce that, because it gets like almost pressurized. So it has to stand up to ease the flow of blood to the brain. Yeah, and actually talking about that, you notice the legs of the giraffe, how they have very tight, thin skin, very few, like very thin, not much meat in the legs. Giraffes have got one of the highest blood pressures of all animals. In that, I mean, they have a very big heart, able to pump the blood all the way to the head. If the legs had too many veins and a lot of meat, the pressure would actually go down and it will explode or rupture the veins and the skin. So nature has created giraffe in a way that it's got very thin legs, very few veins and meat, so that it doesn't carry too much blood on its legs. At the same time, it is able to pump, it's able to pump all the blood all the way to the head. Well, it's been very nice having you on this morning game drive. On behalf of my cameraman, Bungei, me, Isaac, my colleagues Nsoli, Tshala, and the rest down in Juma, we hope you had a very good time. Have a good morning, and we'll see you later on this afternoon. Bye-bye.